Welcome back to another Easy Mind reaction, guys. Um, this I see. That's what's tripping me up. This clip is from the Lex Friedman podcast, but it was not posted by the Lex Friedman podcast. Um, I guess shout out to Glow for handing us this gem, or what I believe will be a gem. But yeah, Rick Rubin's advice for creators or those who are creative. Don't have time to watch. So, okay, alongside tips. Okay, yeah, no, nothing in the description. But how do you close it? I need a mouse pad. This thing is horrendous. Is it in 720 is the highest? Sorry, guys. I should have checked all this out. Let's get into the video.
There are no right answers for anything
Wait,
involved.
I lied. Turn on closed captions. Take it back. Let's get into the video.
There are no right answers for anything involved in art. We're all trying experiments to find a way. And even for the things that I work on, I don't have a set way that I do anything.
10 seconds in and we're pausing. Great. But look, that's especially true, or that's not only true for art, but for life as well. At least I believe. Once again, these are all just thoughts. These are all just, I guess, backed by my experience, backed by my thoughts, my logic, at least, my reasoning. But yeah, because it's everyone's first time living. Regardless of you being 2 seconds old or 99 years old, it is still your first time living. Still your first time being 99. Still your first time being 40, being 10, being 5, being 26. And if there's anything that I've learned, it would be in my life thus far, it would be that there's many ways to skin a cat, as my father used to say when we were younger. To me and my sister, he used to tutor to kids in different grade levels, and we would be some of the students in those classes. And my sister and I, or whoever was at the board solving a problem, they would solve it in a different way. And my dad made an emphasis on the fact, or on the idea, that although we took different routes to get to an answer, to get to the same answer, no, I'm saying that wrong. I'm explaining it wrong. But it's just, hopefully you get my gist. It's just the idea that you could do things a different way and still get the same answer. That's what I meant to say. Where was I going with that? But yeah, I don't think that's only true for art or creative endeavors, but that's true for life in general. So many people try to put people in a box or project their worries and their constraints, restrictions onto other people and say, this is how you got to do things. This is how you got to play the game, But like I said, if there's anything I've learned, there's many ways to skin a cat. Let me take it back.
There are no right answers for anything involved in art. We're all trying experiments to find a way. And even for the things that I work on, I don't have a set way that I do anything. I come to every project blank. I believe we know close to nothing. Close to nothing.
Indeed.
About anything.
Indubitably.
If we embrace that not knowing, we'll have a healthier experience going through life. In some ways, the best art is open enough where the artist gets to have their experience when they make it, and then the audience gets to have their experience when they listen, and they don't have to be the same. There are no right answers for anything involved in art. We're all trying experiments to find a way. And even for the things that I work on, I don't have a set way that I do anything. I come to every project blank. And
I will say on that, I try to take that same approach, but one thing I personally run into, maybe he doesn't, and he's found a way around it, but I have a basis, I believe that to be true for every person, but maybe Rick Rubin is different, but I think everyone has a basis when they approach something. So it's hard to without a doubt, approach something without any bias or without any preconceived notion. But I think what helps, what he was referring to in the beginning, approaching, not even approaching things, but just having that mindset where you don't know anything at all, it helps erase the knowledge that you may have encumbered through, whatever endeavors or whatever experience you had in the past. And then every time you approach something new, you're in your head telling yourself, I have no idea what awaits. I have no idea how to go about this. I have no idea what I'm doing. Although you may have, certain uh, uh, program mechanics in place where it leads you to do this thing, one thing and another. You have language, and for basketball players, it's or athletes, they have these seemingly automatic physical reactions to different things. But the whole point, the whole idea I'm trying to get to is just having that mindset where you accept yourself or accept the facts, the idea that you know nothing at all. And so when you begin to approach different things in life, you have that same mindset, and now you get to embrace the journey that lies ahead fully without any preconceived notions. So, everything's just as it is. Yeah. I think I explained that to an extent, or I elaborated to what I thought it was well enough. Leave a comment.
Even for the things that I work on, I don't have a set way that I do anything. I come to every project blank and see. I really listen to what the artist plays and says, and through what they explain they want to do, um, help find the best way to get there. I feel like it's more of a collaboration between people working together to make the best thing. It's not a boss slave relationship at all. It's much more of a let's find our way. And we agree at the beginning of the process that if either of us or any of us don't like what's happening, we say it. And the goal is to keep working until we get to a point where we're all really happy with it.
That's dang. Anywho, that's what I like to emphasize a lot when I'm explaining myself to other people or when I'm collaborating with someone else, whether it be with music or just writing in general or different ideas. It's this idea where I try to explain it's like I try to look at life not as a hierarchy. The individuals that consist within this world, within this life, that live amongst, we live amongst each other, and it's not a hierarchy. I look at it as a spectrum. There are people who fit into different spectrums, but there's a lot of times where we gloat over certain individuals and their abilities and we place them on a pedestal, and then we kind of, the more attention we put on this other individual, we're taking that attention away from ourselves, and the attention we do give ourselves, it's usually negative attention, and we're looking at ourselves as lesser or uh, less capable. And to me personally, that's just not my truth. At least, like I said, I look at everything as a spectrum as opposed to a hierarchy. uh yeah.
To keep working until we get to a point where we're all really happy with it. It's like if we make something that an artist likes and I don't like, or if that I like and they don't like, we haven't gone far enough. I don't
Mhm.
want to
That's different.
listen to you and have any reaction happening when you're speaking. I want to be as neutral as possible. For me, my goal is not to form an opinion; it's to understand. So, if anything, I would draw you out further and just ask questions to really understand. And if you say, or if you say something that that somehow triggers me in a way that's I wonder how he came to that. I wouldn't. challenge you, I would ask, like, oh, how did you find that? You know, how did
Mm-hmm.
you get to that place? One of the agreements in the studio is any idea that anyone has, will always demonstrate it, will always try it. Because I can describe to you an idea and you can think, that's a terrible idea. Let's not do that. And then I can play you the idea and then you can say, oh, that's really good. And it's completely different because when we're told something, we have to imagine what that is. And the way you see something and imagine it and the way I see something and imagine it are completely different. There can't be any ego in this. It doesn't, if if everyone's there with the purpose of making the best thing we can, there's nothing else. You know, there are no there can't be any boundaries to that.
Mm.
I like the idea of getting to the essential, and I have a better idea now that I've done it for a while, but at the time it was purely an instinctual thing. And part of it is there's a sonic benefit, which is the less elements you have, you can hear each of the ones that are there and they can sound better. And the less there are, the more space they could have around them and the more you can hear their personality. Often in the studio, the idea of building upon things and adding layers to thicken, to make it sound bigger, sometimes the more things you add, the smaller it gets.
Mm.
So a lot of it is counterintuitive until you just in practice see what works. There's something we also like to do called the ruthless edit, which is, let's say you're at a point where it can work for anything, but I'll give you the example with an album. We've recorded 25 songs. We think the album's going to have 10. Instead of picking our favorite 10, we limit it to what are the 5 or 6 that we can't live without. So going past even the goal to get to the real like heart of it, and then see, okay, we have these 5 or 6 that we can't live without.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what would we add to that makes it better and not worse? And it's just it puts you in a different frame.
That's actually interesting. I never thought about it like that. As I stated, many times in the past reactions, past videos, I make music as well, and I'm actually in the moment of trying to put together a mixtape. But no, that was really interesting, and I think like a lot of this video, although he's talking about the creative process uh, in relation to music, I think this relates to life in general. His idea of finding the 5, 6 songs that you can't live without. It can be related to maybe 5 or 6 people you can't live without, or 5 or 6 things in which you do in life that you can't live without doing, or without being consistent within your life. And then from there point, you have your, whether, your 5 different core values, or maybe your 5 different people, your 5 different activities that you like to do. And then you have your life, at the center of those things, and everything else you kind of look to complement it, to see what makes those things in which you can't live without that much better, and everything else can kind of just be thrown away. And not to say, like, the quote, one man's trash is another man's come up. So just because you throw away doesn't mean it's just this thing that's bad, or doesn't need any love, maybe just not from you as an individual, but the things in which you like doing, the people in which you like, the core values that make up your morale system may not be the same as another person's. But it's just finding finding those things that click with you, connect to the core of your existence, the core of who you are. Then everything else, kind of, once you're true to it, at least I believe, in my belief, once you're true to that core of who you are, everything else begins to fall in place. Let me dang, I need a new mouse pad.
And it's just it puts you in a different frame when you start with building instead of removing. I feel like I'm channeling ideas from somewhere else, 100%. But I think
Have you asked questions about where from?
I believe we all are, though. I believe we are we're vehicles for information.
Dude, that's crazy. I like how his drink just gets less and less every frame. But anyways, you guys gotta listen to it's on my other channel. It's Houston Z period music. Houston Z's music. And it was what was it? It was a remix I wrote to Drake and Jax Harlow Churchill Down. And the way I titled it Why Me? And essentially it was me going through this I don't know, through this talk where I was just questioning a lot of the things I did or have done up until that point. And the thing is, like, I was talking to one of my friends. I think it's referred to as imposter syndrome or something of that nature. But me personally, I have a hard time accepting praisal and being well regarded by other people, and I question whether if I as the individual deserve the words or the praisal or the you know just agreeableness from other people, because I have to believe that the good things in which I do, which is another problem in itself. I was like, I lay all the bad things on myself, but when it comes to the good things I do, I'm like, okay, it's not me, it's something else that's speaking through me or something else. But a lot of times when I'm writing my lyrics or writing my poems and poetry, I feel to be in this space where a lot of what I'm writing isn't me. Although it's me to an extent, it relates to my core, it relates to my existence, my general idea, the general idea of what I am. But there feels to be some energy passing through me into the pen or into the keyboard when I'm typing on my phone. I forgot the lyrics I wrote. I forgot, but it was referring to something passing through me it was along the same lines, and it was just crazy. But the fact that he's saying that's why, dude, I think that's one of the reasons why I'm actually doing this stuff, to react to different videos, writing these different things, just putting myself out there, because I so badly want to find others alike. I want to talk to other people who, I guess you can say, get me or relate to me, who just, it's not even about like getting anywhere in life. It's not about, oh, we need to communicate, or we need to talk to build something, or to get out there and start something. It just gives me peace of mind to be able to have a conversation with someone else. And it's just this back and forth of, great ideas, energy. It's just, that's what I'm looking for, really. Maybe I've been deprived of connection from human beings, from individuals, and maybe that's why I long for that. But hey, man, maybe one day I get to meet Rick. I'll get to meet Rick Rubin. Before his time inevitably comes. He reminds me of Alan Watts. I don't know if it's just his. No, I'm pretty sure a good part of it is due to his facial hair. Facial hair? His hair facial. His facial hair. Yeah, no, I'm tripping. Yeah, his hair facial. But yeah, no, he reminds me a lot of him.
We are we're vehicles for
Vessels.
information
Yeah.
that when it's ready to come through, it comes through, and the people who have good antennas pick up the signal. But if I'm sure you've had an experience in your life where you've had an idea for something and you've not acted on it, and eventually someone else does it.
Oh
And it's
yeah.
not because they're doing it because you had the idea and they stole your idea. It's because the
It's
time
out
has
there.
come for that idea. And if you don't do it, someone else is going to
It's
do it.
being broadcast by whatever the source is.
Whatever the source is. The reason that you're who you are and the reason that you're finding the success you're finding is because you've been true to yourself to get to that stage.
Mm.
So to start changing that to either conform to someone else's idea of what you should be doing, it just seems like doesn't make sense.
Do you
Not
have
at
a
all.
sense of who you are? Because I don't necessarily have a.
I don't know. I know that I really like making good things, and I know that I'm crazy about it in that it's like an obsession.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. People ask me. That's why I don't do labels. That's why I don't refer to myself as a writer, a songwriter, a poet, a YouTuber, a content creator. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I truly believe no one else has any idea what they're doing. But people, I guess, who pay attention to themselves or just pay attention to what they're feeling, who are extremely self aware, just have this proclivity to just go with the flow in a sense. It's just like this thing, this calling that's overtaken me. My father had the same thing happen to him in 2011 after he quit his job for GE. I think he was explaining to me he was in the basement when we lived in Rhode Island, North Providence. He was in the basement. He had a little lamp in the corner, and I don't know if he was reading this book or he was just thinking away, and this overwhelming emotion just washed over him, and this conviction just filled him up. And I think I don't know if it was the next day or within 72 hours, he just quit his job as GE, and then he flew to Liberia, and he started doing his own thing. He wrote a book called Finding My Frequency, which you guys should definitely check out. And that's a great phrase, a great way to put it, finding your frequency, paying attention to yourself, and then following wherever your energy is pointing towards or is trying to tell you to go. I think it's very important to pay attention to yourself. But like I was saying, I just relate to that a lot. I don't know what it is. I don't have any label for identity. I just assume the name of Houston because that was the name that was given to me at birth. And you know what? Whatever, rock with it. I'm Houston. That's what I am. That's what I do. I do what Houston does. And I notice I have this obsession to just work, to just continue to, whether it's put out content such as this, but to continue to just work and to explore and to gain knowledge. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't put a name on it. I don't put a title on it. I say Houston is learning. Houston is living. What people ask me, what do you do for a living? And it's just like I'm repeating myself now, but I'm just so excited about it. I just say uh uh Houston does what Houston does. To me, it's as simple as that. And if you keep it simple, I feel that you can attain a whole lot by not trying to dig a hole and trying to be so specific and trying to get to the point of things. You kind of let go, and then you find yourself exploring the entire realm, and you find yourself taken into much more than you would have had you know, dug a hole, had you kept trying to break things down and trying to understand things for what they are. Things just are as they are. And you got to figure out whether you like it or you don't like it. Can you do it? Can you not do it? What's Shakespeare say? To be or not to be. And that's really the only two options in life. Do it or don't do it. Like it or don't like it. Be it or don't be it.
Things. And I know that I'm crazy about it in that
Super crazy.
It's like an obsession. And I want things to be as good as they could be, whatever it is. And if I finish a music project and I have a window of time where I'm not working on music, I might be moving the furniture around in the house. I'm always looking for a creative outlet to find a way to make
Ooh.
something better. Anyone on the business side
His
who
drink's going
doesn't
now.
make things, they're excited to do their part. They're excited if when you deliver the thing, the art that you make to me, then we can start the project.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to sell if the art doesn't happen in the right way, and it has to be protected, and it can't happen on the same kind of a timetable that that business can. It's just a different thing. Art doesn't come in a quarterly way. I know on the
Yeah.
art side,
I think that's my, he was referring to, the selling the art. I think that's my problem with, I guess you can refer to it as capitalism, or just the idea of putting monetary value on, art, because I'm so fixated on just creating, on just expressing myself in whatever creative way I can think of. And my father was talking to me. He was telling me that I need to start paying more attention to the business side of things, to the money side of things. And for a while that bugged me, because I just want to create, I just want to write, I just want to express, I just want to be. And then there's this structural part of creativity that says, well, if you want to create, if you want to put things out, if you want to be able to just live by expression of self, you have to, you have to turn it into a product. There's more I wanted to say on that, but it had slipped my mind, and I'm not going to force it. But yeah, that's just my what's the word? Confliction. That's my confliction with the business side of art. But I feel like I'm getting better at it. I feel like I'm leaning into it a bit more. But I don't want me leaning into the business side of things to kind of ruin uh, my artistic and creative side, because I feel like that happens to a lot of people sometimes. They get carried away. That instead of just looking to create and expand themselves creatively, it's become based on meeting a quota. I need to sell this much by this time. And then now you're not so much focused on the art or the creation. You're just focused on making a certain amount of money, or, and this, that. And that's why I think if I do make money from, this YouTube or my writings, I don't think I'm gonna live a lavish lifestyle. I'm not. I told myself, and I was telling my sisters and my friends, I was like, if I have the money to buy a mansion, I'm probably not gonna buy a mansion. I'll just put that money aside for Airbnb vacations, because I think that's also another thing. It has nothing to do with this video, but it's just an idea. It's like, if you live in a mansion, every single day, you kind of get tired of those things. You do something every day, or you experience something every day, and it just becomes this routine, and it becomes mundane. Something that used to be extravagant and something you wish to attain now kind of becomes this mundane everyday thing. But in my head, I'm thinking, what, if I just go do it, every now and then, I can, you know, still be appreciative. I can still be appreciative. Yeah, that's how I pronounce it. I'm tripping. Appreciative of, of the mansion, the cars, or whatever the sort. But yeah, let me take it back a little bit.
it's just a different thing. Art doesn't come in a quarterly way.
Not at all.
I know on the art side, knowing how it works isn't what makes it work. Isn't the magic of it isn't how it works. The magic is the magic.
Right.
And the magic happens in a way that's
Magic is the magic.
intuitive and accidental at times, or incidental, where you're trying many things and all of a sudden something works, and you don't know why.
Sometimes when I write like a crazy line, especially this happens a lot of times when I'm writing music, I would write a crazy line, and then or just a crazy verse, and it just one line after another just bam, 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 metaphor, simile, whatever figurative language I'm using, and I'm just going crazy. And then at the end, I read it back, and I'm just like, and I look up, I'm like, what is this? How did this? Like you said, sometimes it's just accident. It comes on accident, and sometimes it's just no explanation for it. But I feel like there's an explanation to an extent, because like you said, it's you don't get the magic to work by focusing on the magic. I think you get the magic to work by just understanding that it's magic. It's the same idea with, you know, somebody such as Steph Curry. I feel like if he was focused on the mechanics of his shot, every single time he shot the ball, I feel like he would miss it more often than just believing in his ability to do something. And I think that's the same thing with me when I'm writing. I just have this belief that, okay, this is something that I just do. This is just something that just happens. It's a natural way of life. And having that, whether it's true or not, just having that mindset allows you to let go of any worries of you ever being like, oh, what if I one day not able to do it, or what if it doesn't work this time? That's never a worry when you just, confess or sit there and realize, this is magic. And it's just another happening in life. It's just what happens. It just is. What they say, it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah. Dang, what's the play? I need a new mouse pad.
Accidental, where you're trying many things, all of a sudden something works, and you don't know why. And it's okay not to know why. It doesn't really matter why, as long as it does the thing that you want it to do, whatever that is. The only advice I would have would be to not listen to anyone and to do what you love and to make things that you love, whatever it is. Make your favorite things. Be the audience. Make the thing for you the audience. And it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks. And if you have to get a job to support yourself so that you can make your art, that's fine. You can't make art for someone else. You can't make art with someone else in mind. I don't believe it's any good. It's like everything is like it's almost like a diary entry. Everything we make is a reflection of a moment in time, a window in time.
Art imitates life.
It could be a year. It could be it could be whatever window you decide that it is. But if you give it all of yourself, and if you're not interested in working on it anymore, it's done. Now you may decide it's not good enough to share with people, and that's fine. But if it's good enough to share with people, there's no regret looking back.
Oh, no. You stop it. You stop it now. No. Let me go back because I don't want to have you.
There are no right answers for any.
But yeah, I just feel bad for. Well, let me not say feel bad, but I guess concern I have in mind. For people who are bogged down financially and don't have that freedom to just even for an hour of the day. Sometimes it gets that hard. Sometimes life isn't all that pleasant to some of us. And, it's unfortunate that some people don't have that much of time to be able to find those things they take a liking to, or to find some way to be creative. Because I don't know if everyone is creative. I don't know if everyone has that ability. I think some people are much more pragmatic and logical, than other people. But like even for me, I'm pretty logical and pragmatic and very much I could be on the line about some things, I'm very much sometimes constricted to the line. But other times I guess I branch away. I guess that's the unpredictable nature I exhibit sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, we got to do things this way. Yeah, other times I'm like, well, I'm feeling, that emotional side is like, I'm feeling like it should be done this way. Let's just try this way, and those two sides of me argue all the time, and we go at it. But yeah, no, I just feel for some people who are constricted to a lot of life circumstances, maybe dealing with bills, or maybe people in third world countries who are. I just feel like it should be a privilege, a privilege of life that everyone is owed, or everyone should be able to try at least for a small time. I don't want to say, I guess, for a part in their life, just for however short of a time, however long a time, just to be able to experience it. Uh, yeah. I guess I'm out of words. Leave a like. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe no, and turn on post notifications. But if you are not going to do any of that, at the very least, please do leave a comment. I would very much love to have a conversation with you guys.